Back once again, AD on the radio.
Flitter, it's you and the senorita. Whoop a blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Knocking the mama seat top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme say. Running game like a cheater. I'm balling.
So, the guys in Europe, the 80s band from Sweden, I never got that. They're Scandinavian, but they call themselves Europe. Whatever. It was a little late to question them on their motives. That was like 30 years ago. But the 80s song, The Final Countdown by Europe, never made it to number one on a Billboard chart until now. Thanks to that Geico ad where they sing it in an office break room, it is now at number one on top of the commercials chart. Yeah, buddy. And the hook of the song, this. That's amazing. I wonder if the keyboard player in the band that came up with that. I wonder if the guy that came up with that in the band sends them "You're welcome" letters every single Christmas, where he's like, "You're welcome in advance. I hope my Christmas present is a good one because we would have been nothing at all without skiddy-doo-doo, skiddy-doo-doo." And all these years later, their success continues. They are now at number one on the top commercials chart, which determines the most popular songs being used in current ad campaigns. Good job, Europe. I have to imagine that's got to stimulate some sales on iTunes and stuff like that, right, Funkhouser?
Yeah, they probably make 0.4 of 1 cent every time somebody plays it.
And
sure,
it's probably getting played being played an awful lot. Wonder if Europe are on Spotify. Hey, are you excited to eat delicious turkey? Is that a thing for you?
Sure.
What are you going to do? Because, you're having Thanksgiving with Canadian Jane, right? Canadian Jane being Canadian, but also Canadian Jane is a vegan, right?
Yeah. We've been Googling recipes. If you got a good vegan recipe, then hit me up on the Twitter and let us know. And we're going shopping later today for tofu and things like that.
Tofurkey?
Yeah. So we're getting ready.
Doesn't tofurkey contain soy?
Yeah, but can't you eat... Vegans can eat soy.
Vegans can eat soy. Vegans can eat soy till the cows come home. And literally, when vegans eat soy, the cows come home a lot more regularly. But vegans can eat soy. But I heard soy now. There's two things about it. I think it's been proven that soy contains carcinogens.
Another thing that'll kill you.
Another thing that'll kill you, another cancer-giving thing. And then the other thing, if tofu doesn't give you cancer because of the soy, Canadian Jane would have no problem with this. But I think for you, Funkhouser, I think that soy, tofu, stuff like that can stimulate estrogen production in a male body. And if you... Yeah, I know, but besides making you sound like the adorable grandmother of Mary Poppins, it can also give you pronounced man boobs. It can give you big old moobs if you eat too much tofu, apparently.
Uh-oh.
Which sounds like a lie that guys everywhere have invented to tell their vegan girlfriends. We're like, I got you a soy burger. It's like, sorry, I really don't want to have to deal with moobs, and I'm sure you don't want to have to deal with moobs in the sack either. But apparently eating vast quantities of soy, not great for you, especially if you happen to be a dude. So you might want to be careful with the amount of tofurkey you ingest, Funkhouser. Now, the dynamic in your relationship, is it one where, you can sit there and eat turkey while she eats tofurkey?
Oh, yeah.
Or would she be like... Oh, yeah, she's cool with that.
She's cool with it. Although, I would like to be one of her kind. So, we got one of those lean green George Foreman things. Because she said you can grill tofu on it, and it tastes really good. So, yeah. She doesn't give me the angry stares because I want to be like her someday.
You want to be a vegan?
Well, I like to be like her. I can't cancel meat out of my life altogether. But I would like to eat, Brussels sprouts more often. And
Like, in what ways do you want to be more like her? That you think, being more vegan and less meat eating would like? What's the motivation? What do you see in her that you want to be more like? This actually took an interesting turn.
Oh well, I have the moobs, and I'd like to get rid of those.
Well, apparently the soy could be aiding and abetting your moves, so that you maybe want to do a little research. So you're trying to like lean up. You're trying to be ripped, toned, shredded super athlete, and you see veganism as a good way to do that.
Yeah, it's holiday season. I mean, you're gonna get fat anyway, so you might as well try to not get so fat and eat the vegan lifestyle.
Dude, being a vegan is tough work in terms of getting the right stuff because, when Joanna Angel was on the show the other day, and if you haven't listened to the podcast, please do. When Joanna Angel was on the show the other day, she and I talked about being vegan because I was vegan as a kid and she was as well in her sort of college years. And she was like, I know it's better. I know it's better to be a vegan. I know it's more moralistic. I know it's kinder. I know it's better for you, but I just don't care. She was like, one day I was like, F it, and ate an entire brick of cheese all by myself. But she said that being a vegan can be very unhealthy. Unless you're, because mostly you're eating grains like carbs, and a lot of the time they're just overly salted and overly seasoned and have tons of fat, like they're deep fried, like tons of hydrogenated fats in them, just because you got to make them taste like something. So the idea that it's healthier to be a vegan, in theory, yes. In reality, if you want to eat something that tastes like something, it's tough. I actually went to a vegan restaurant a little while ago. I was like, okay, I ate like this for years of my life. I wonder if I could eat a vegan meal now and be satisfied. And it was really salty, and it was deep fried, and it was some sort of grain. And I was like, so this is really no better for me than eating a donut, I don't think. It really doesn't seem to, the health benefits of this are kind of being lost on me at the moment. So if you have Canadian Jane cooking for you in ways that are interesting and give you the right sort of nutrition, that's a good thing. But a lot of vegans I know just eat lots and lots of pasta and get fat. I know a lot of porky vegans. They're pale, they're all malnourished, and they're actually kind of chunky. That's when you do veganism the wrong way. When you do it the right way, it probably is the healthiest lifestyle ever. But I think for Thanksgiving, you should eat a turkey like Dimitri Martin says too.
Pets are animals that are not delicious. I don't think that was by mistake. I think we probably tried to eat all of them. Okay, these don't taste good, so we'll give these first names and sweaters and we'll hang out with them. And then let's eat the rest. Let's eat these. We even eat birds. I can't believe we eat birds. How did that start? Somebody's like, you see that flying up there? I want to put that in my mouth. Yeah, that looks good. It's covered in feathers. No. I'll do some to it. I'll make it good. I think we're mean to birds, man. Turkeys, we break the wishbone. We've killed the bird. We've cooked it and we've eaten it. Then we're like, you want to break its bones, man? Yeah, let's break his bones, man. We'll make a wish. What did you wish for? Death to all turkeys.
If your ultimate holiday wish is to have $2,000 in cash, go to Real Radio 104.1. We have teamed up with the folks over at Central Florida Mazda dealers to give you a chance to win $2,000. Today in the show, a school had students make ISIS recruitment posters for homework. A list of the smartest and stupidest states is out. Where does your state fall on the list? And a guy was upset he didn't get what he wanted from his masseuse, so he took matters into his own hands. Funkhouser grows buttercrunch lettuce.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio.
Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace and that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, but there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, and you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do what I want when I want.
So, I don't know if you can call any entire state, the entirety of one state, smart or dumb. Because, well, I can pretty much categorically freaking guarantee you every state is filled with knuckle-dragging morons bringing down geniuses like me and Funkhouser. The buffoons are, without a shadow of a freaking doubt, winning. But the Washington Post just did us all a favor and ranked the 50 states from smartest to dumbest based on 4 factors: average IQ scores, SAT scores this year, and their ACT scores this year, and the percentage of college grads. Anyways, Funkhouser, if you had to guess, what would you say the smartest
Florida.
state in the country is?
Oh,
Florida?
I thought you were going to go the
smartest state in the country.
California, New York, Texas.
The smartest?
Yes.
Smartest state in the country is Massachusetts.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Go
Even
ahead,
though,
Mass.
Yeah. As much as they're supposed to be wicked smart, I can find 77,000 guys named Sully that might make you disagree. The rest of the 10 smartest states go Minnesota, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Wisconsin, Kansas, Vermont, Iowa, Jersey, and Colorado. Now, you know one thing that I notice about that? One thing I notice about that list? You know what the common thread that runs between all those states is?
Almost northeasternly.
Freaking cold is what is the common thread. And I think, like, have you ever spent much time in Minnesota?
Zero seconds.
Zero time. I've been to Minnesota a lot, and I happen to think that the people in Minnesota, the home of my great radio hero, Garrison Keillor, are some of the most thoughtful people on the face of the planet. Not thoughtful in that they're considerate of other people's feelings, which they definitely are, but thoughtful in that they seem to spend a good deal of time in their own heads considering stuff, giving things thought. They are thinkers in Minnesota, and I think part of the reason that they are thinkers in Minnesota is because there's 8 to 10 weeks out of the year where Mother Nature actively tries to kill you, tries to end your life. And that does 2 things. One, it breeds a certain sense of community there because people like to check on their older neighbors because, they might be dead. Or, when you're out on the road and there's a blizzard, everyone's kind of still got to get to work. And blizzard schmizzard, this is Minnesota. So everyone's kind of going slow and looking out for one another. And that's kind of cool. There's sort of a cool sense of community out there that I don't think you get in a lot of other places just because of the hardship that everybody shares, which is weather. It doesn't matter which socioeconomic category you fall into. You all have to deal with the freezing cold and the snow in Minnesota, and that sort of is the great equalizer of a town like that. The other thing that it does when it's freezing freaking cold is I think you can't go out. You can't do things. You can't really do much else other than stay in the house and be one with your thoughts. I think you start, mulling things over in your mind. I think people in Minnesota tend to live in their heads. People in cold weather places tend to live in their heads a little bit. And I don't know. I think living in your head, turning things over, thinking of stuff is sort of like mental exercise. Whereas, if you're out and about just lying in the sunshine, as people in warm weather places like the places where we're on, the places in Texas and California and in Florida, I don't know if you do that sort of thing. So it sort of makes sense to me that people in cold weather places are a little bit more cerebral. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say more intelligent, but it makes sense to me that people in cold weather places are a little bit more cerebral because you're forced to be in your head a little bit more often because you can't go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather because it isn't beautiful and it could kill you. So, yeah, the dumbest state, what do you think the dumbest state is in all of America, Funkhouser?
Wyoming. California,
what's interesting,
Oregon. I don't know. All of them.
What's interesting is, I wonder about that because, look, the number of stories of people doing things that could be viewed as being comedically ridiculous that emanate from Florida are disproportionately high, it would seem. And one thing I've noticed since being on Real Radio 104.1 in Orlando is that folks in Florida seem to be aware of this as well. I will say this, though. The people that listen to Real Radio 104.1 in Orlando are some of the smartest, most thoughtful people I've ever had the pleasure of broadcasting to. And I'm not just trying to dig myself out of a hole that Funkhouser dug earlier. It's the feedback that we get from those people is insane. People really really listen, and people really think, and people really bring awesome, interesting, fascinating, germane things to the conversation. So, yeah, I would, not that it's Florida anyway. What do you think the dumbest state is?
I don't know.
Take one last guess.
Rhode Island, because it's so small.
No, Hawaii.
Oh, I don't... Yeah. Okay.
The dumbest state is Hawaii, which to me is kind of surprising since the people there are the only ones smart enough to realize you can live on an island paradise and still be part of America. The rest of the 10 least intelligent states are, what do you think the stupidest state in the union is? Funkhouser? Don't.
Idaho?
Okay. There you go. Idaho. On some level, aren't we really all hoes? I know Nevada, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, West Virginia, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Arizona. I don't like this. And for the same reason that I don't like fortune tellers. What do smarts have to do with being a fortune teller or having your fortune told? Doesn't seem obvious on the surface of things, but we'll get to it next.
Like most kids from a privileged white upper-middle-class suburban background, for a significant portion of his childhood, he was pretty convinced he was down. AD on the radio.
So the Washington Post just ranked all 50 states from smartest to dumbest using things like average IQ and SAT scores. In at number 1 on the list of the smartest states in all of America, Massachusetts. Massachusetts is the smartest state, and Hawaii came in dead last. Yeah. I'm not sure you can call any entire state smart or dumb because, well, every state is filled with buffoons bringing down geniuses like I. Or is it geniuses like me? See? The idiots are winning. Stupid, I know, but look at the subject matter of today's show. But you know why I don't like this? For the same reason I don't like fortune tellers. Like, people that believe that, there's a plan and you're fulfilling it. Like, I've never wanted to go to fortune tellers. I've never wanted to look at my horoscope. I've never wanted to look to the stars and kind of see what the future holds. Do you believe in psychics or any of that, Funkhouser? Like, if you're trying to figure out what the future holds for you and someone said, I can tell you that, would you put any, do you believe?
I put it all together. It's just like having a bunch of resources. I read more than one newspaper.
Right.
That's
an interesting way to look at it. Anything that suggests that the future is predestined is something that I do not care for. I do not care for at all. Why? Because it takes you and the force of your will out of the equation. It takes you and the force of your will out of the equation. It really does. And when you drop a list like this on the population of America, hopefully, at least in the states that are a little stupid, according to this list, it causes a certain amount of righteous indignation where you're like, oh man, well, this list is hooey because I'm smart and I know I'm smart. Or it causes a certain amount of righteous indignation in that you go, oh, I knew I was smarter than my peers. I got to get out of here and get amongst a bunch of thinkers in Massachusetts or wherever the hell it is. When I was a kid, I was in the slow class. I was put in the slow class. I was told that I was learning disabled. I was told that, in fact, my parents had a rule. They had to sign off on my homework because I could never finish it. I could never finish my homework. And my parents had to sign off on the fact that I'd done an hour's worth of homework in the second or third grade. Hey, he doesn't have to finish his homework. We don't expect him to finish his homework because clearly, he's slow. He's got learning disabilities. He's not a smart kid. But my parents were made to sign off on the fact that I'd done 45 minutes of homework or an hour of homework. And at that stage in the game, you know what I could do in 45 minutes to an hour's worth of homework? I got my name written on the top of the paper, and it pretty much ended there. My parents would ask why the hell I hadn't done my homework or what was wrong with me, and I would say, I just get sidetracked. Sidetracked was my personal narrative for the first, I don't know, when you start school when you're 5. From age 5 to about age 13, freshman year of high school, sidetracked was my thing. I got D's, C's. Sometimes I didn't show up for class, so I got incompletes. And I was told the whole time that I was learning disabled. I was slow. I was a slow kid. I wasn't the brightest. I wasn't the brightest spark. I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. And nothing is. I shouldn't really expect too much of myself. I had this one teacher though when I got into like the 9th grade. I had this one teacher that really, man, I became friends with him later on in life. And for the life of me, I'm having problems remembering his last name. Maybe they were right. Maybe I'm not so smart. But I had this one teacher, kind of like social studies teacher. It was like social studies / American history, economics type of situation. And I remember I think I failed a test. And or I didn't hand in homework, or a combination of the two. I think I was basically just effing up in class. And this one teacher came to me and said, "You're better than this." I was shocked. It was the first time anyone had ever said anything like that to me at all whatsoever. "You're better than this?" I was like, I'd never heard that. I'd always heard you're kind of an idiot, so don't worry about, getting ahead in life. Mr. Brown. James Brown. How did I forget that I had a teacher called James Brown? Mr. More, the godfather of soul. Please, please, please. It's a man's world teaching your 9th grade social studies class. Oh. Ha! Gonna get in the hot tub. Ow! Too hot in the hot tub. If you've never seen the best of Eddie Murphy on SNL, I beg you, watch that. Ow! Get in the hot tub. Good God. James Brown was my teacher. That's the guy. James Brown was my teacher who said, "Hey, you're better than that." I'd never, ever in my entire life attending school heard, "I'm better than that." I heard it from my parents, but I was like, that's wishful thinking on your part, Mom and Dad. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not better than that. But when a teacher said that to me, I wondered how he knew, or wonder what made him think that, because, well, I had a long history of proving that I wasn't better than that. But he was just like, "You're better than that." And it started me thinking. I was like, you know what? No offense to the other kids in the slow class, but I feel like I've got a bit of an edge on some of them. I'm just not connecting the dots. I did some reading. I went to the library, did some reading. And I used to read constantly. I didn't have any problem ingesting information. It was just, holding on to it and spitting it out during a test when the crucial time came. That absolutely sort of proved to be too much of a challenge for my young brain. But I did some reading, and I started to realize, I was like, I think I have this thing. I think I have this thing that I'm reading about. I think I have this attention deficit disorder, not being able to pay attention, not being able to focus. And I would sit there in class and I would crack a book and I'd be like, today I'm going to make my mom and dad proud. Today I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm not as stupid as I've been told I am since I was 5 years old. Today I'm going to be a smart kid. Today I'm going to be so on it. I'm going to be focused and I'll know the answers to all these questions. And I'm going to be reading along in my book. And then the teacher would call on me, and I don't know how much time had elapsed, but I'd be like, I don't even know what page we're on. I just get sidetracked. I disappear off into the ether. And I started to realize that I think I had this thing called attention deficit disorder. And I figured out a workaround for my brain where, well, what I would do is this. I gave up on trying to learn in class. That was pointless. It wasn't going to work for me. I would draw, I would read my other books, I'd do whatever the hell I did. I'd vaguely pay attention enough to make it look like I was paying attention. And then the day before the test, the day before the exam, the day before whatever, I would go sit in an extra help session with the teacher, with them basically screaming facts on me directly to my face. So there's no way to sort of slack off. I'd be there at the front of the class. The teacher was talking directly to me. I was getting this kind of one-on-one attention that you don't get for the rest of the school year. And you know what? Boom, nailed it. First day on the test. Boom, nailed it. Second A on the test. I figured out a workaround for my brain. And this kid that was being told that he was stupid, that he was slow, that he was... don't bother expecting anything of this child. It's just, oh, man. Oh, he's not going to be a mathematician. He's not going to be an engineer. He's not going to... I know he's only in the third grade, but here's a long list of things that he will never be capable of. And you know what? I proved everybody wrong. From the time that James Brown, my history teacher, that was also the godfather of soul, apparently, went, "Hey, no, you're smarter than that." I went, "Really? I am? I could be?" And I figured out I was. Straight A's throughout the entirety of high school. Headmaster's list every single time that sort of thing came around. Straight A's. Also won one of those National Merit Scholarship things where I got a free ride to Tufts and New England Conservatory of Music, which I didn't wind up taking, much to the chagrin of my parents, but I got it based on my smarts. This kid that was told that he was too slow and don't ever expect too much of him. And I'm not saying this to impress you, but I'm saying it to impress upon you that when somebody tells you that your future is predestined in any way, shape, or form, whether it's reading a list that says you live in the stupidest state in America, or whether it's being told that you're not smart enough, or whether it's being told that you're never going to achieve certain things, or whether it's, going to the fortune teller and having them tell you your life's going to wind up like this, or whether it's believing that, God has a plan and you're just getting blown in the wind. No. You have everything. You want to bring God into it? God's given you everything that you need to do exactly what you want with your life, in your heart and in your mind. There's so many things that people will tell you are insurmountable in this world, and they're just telling you that because they seem insurmountable to them. Don't pick up someone else's baggage. You want something, you go after it. You don't let a list of the smartest and stupidest states in America predetermine anything to do with your future or anything at all. You don't let anybody decide your future but you. F that noise. And if someone tells you can't do it, I'm going to guarantee it's because they feel like they can't do it. Anyways, so the smartest and dumbest states, that's a list that's out, but it's also a list that should be ignored. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Bernard M. Baruch. All right, Funkhouser, let's take a look at the news. What's going on in the world? Our segment, My Witness News, in no way, shape, or form fair, certainly not balanced. Oh, Funkhouser, in a little bit, we'll talk about the teacher. We'll talk about the teacher. By the way, when you're taking, sort of like cues about your history, your future from a school teacher, bear in mind, teachers, despite the fact that they are educators, not necessarily the sharpest tools in the shed themselves. A school in Utah had students make ISIS posters for homework. Yep, ISIS recruitment posters for homework. We'll get into the whys and wherefores of that a little later on in the show. Right now, though, let's check in with super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser, and ask, A, how are you? B, what is going on in the world? How are you? What's going on?
Things are good. My buttercrunch lettuce is growing.
Oh, your buttercrunch. Oh,
Take
yeah, that's
that.
Right. You're an avid gardener.
Yes, it is the winter season, and you're supposed to plant leafy things, and the leafy things have been planted, and they are growing. So,
Buttercrunch lettuce. What have I ever had that? Is that some sort of exotic lettuce that I'm not familiar with? Because I don't believe I've ever been like, yeah, I'll have the buttercrunch lettuce salad. What makes it? What?
Well,
makes
it tastes like buttery.
Does it really?
Buttery lettuce, and it goes when you eat it.
Does it really taste buttery?
That's what they say.
I think I would have noticed if I'd had lettuce that tasted like butter. That sounds good.
You have to next time you have a salad, you should just special order. Do you have butter lettuce in that? Maybe some romaine.
When I was in a band and we were on tour, it was vegan, and being vegan not easy. And I ate a lot of Denny's house salads, as one does in these situations. But the bass player in the band, I got it. Yeah, I've made this decision to be vegan. I'm limiting my own food intake by doing this. Therefore, it's a me problem, not a problem that has to do with anyone else. But the bass player in my band, was, this is what he called himself. He called himself a pescatarian food combiner, meaning he ate fish but no other forms of flesh, and he combined food.
Well, I would call him a fish murderer then.
We have fish murderer. He would, but meaning he combined food, meaning that he wouldn't eat starches and proteins together. And like if he ate bread, he'd be like, he'd go into Denny's. He'd go into Denny's every single time and ask the same question and expect a different answer, which, definition of insanity. I don't know if you can apply like a chain restaurant to that definition of insanity, but was it Einstein? Einstein, I think, that said like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. He would go into every single Denny's that we went to, and he would say, like, do you have any sprouted spelt bread? Which is, I guess, if you're a food combiner that can't eat starches and proteins, it's one of the few types of breads you're allowed to eat. Like, do you have any sprouted spelt bread? And they would go, no, we don't. Don't even know what it is, but I'm not even going to check. We do not have that. We never will have that. Shut up and order your food. Like, the looks they got from the wait and staff were just incredible. But he would also be like, well, I'll tell you, he sent back a Denny's salad once. Why? You'll find out in a second. It is hilarious. It is ridiculous, and, well, so is this show. Thanks for listening.
Now, more AD on the radio.
So, before we get into the news, Funkhouser, you're growing buttercrunch lettuce that's been planted.
Yummy.
And buttercrunch lettuce is lettuce that tastes like butter and is crunchy. Like a buttery lettuce.
Because I live in California where you can grow things 24 hours a day, 12 months a year. Yeah. It's lettuce time now. You can thank California when you eat your lettuce-induced meals.
Lettuce-induced meals. Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking about not only Funkhouser's gardening, but, like, you can hit the news bed, Funkhouser. This is, well, it's not news, but it's related to your, there we go. Ba, 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 ba.
That's old school now.
Yeah. So the bass player in my band, I was a vegan, and I accepted the limitations of my diet when I was a kid in a band on the road. I was a vegan, and I knew that meant I would be eating a lot of Denny's house salads and a lot of toast. My bass player was even more difficult. Pescatarian food combiner, which meant he only ate fish. That was the only flesh that he was willing to eat. He was a fish murderer, but he thought anything that was any other animal. What's that line in the Nirvana song? It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings. I think that's since been disproven. But whatever the case may be, he only ate fish. That's the only meat. And he also food combined, which meant you couldn't have starches and proteins together. And he would always go into Denny's and ask, he's like, do you have any sprouted spelt bread? And they would be like, no, what the hell is that? No, don't even bother answering that. Just no. Just look at the menu, pick something on there, and that's what you're going to get. It's freaking Denny's. And so he wound up eating a lot of Denny's house salads as well. But he got so frustrated. And it's just like, look, dude, we're doing this to ourselves. Like, we're in Topeka, Kansas, at a Denny's. You're a pescatarian food combiner. Your options are somewhat limited at this stage in the game. You're going to order a Denny's house salad, and guess what? It's going to be the same Denny's house salad that you've had in all other 50 states that we've played in and eaten at Denny's after a show or before a show. And, oh, man. He sent a Denny's house salad back. You want to know why, Funkhouser?
Yeah, please.
Because it was tasteless. He was like, it just doesn't taste like much. I don't want it. The guy was like, "What is it? Is it are the is the lettuce rotten, or is there wiltedness, or is it not crispy, or is it what?" He was like, it just doesn't taste like anything. And he was like, God, would it kill them to come up with a little bit of radicchio or romaine? I was like, it's freaking Denny's. You spoiled bitch. You eat it. and we go on with our lives. This is what you signed up for when you became a guy in a band that realized his dream of getting $1 million record deal. It involves, ironically enough, eating Denny's house salads. Now take the rough with the smooth, eat it, shut up, and let us get on with our lives. He's a good guy, though. He just had he just had unrealistic expectations of what Denny should provide for his sensitive palate. Maybe he would have been happier if he'd had some of your buttercrunch lettuce, Funkhouser. All right, what is going on in the news?
Oh, yeah, it's good. I'm telling you. Twin sisters married twin brothers in a ceremony officiated by twin priests in India.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. A rare thing. In other news involving rare events in India, somebody used soap. It's good stuff. India's like just such a weird dichotomy because some of the greatest minds in the world come out of India. India's a weird dichotomy because in many ways they're so far ahead of the curve. And then, also in India, not uncommon for people to go, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to go in the street. Pop a squat there. Drop a big old steaming one in the middle of the street and then go on with their day. Like, there's all these sorts of, disease problems and things of that nature just because of a lack of cleanliness in India. And it's just such a crazy juxtaposition between the parts of their society that are so far ahead of the curve and the other ones that haven't figured out that it's a bad news to defecate in the street. It's weird. Like, did you know in India... Did you know in India they've kind of sussed out, well, I mean, first and foremost, India is still wildly behind the times in terms of accepting people's sexuality. You can get stoned to death for being gay in India. And on the other side of the equation, did you know that they've done research, and through their groundbreaking scientific research with dolphins, they've come to realize that dolphins are so intelligent that they have been identified as a new species. Dolphins are now in India considered to be non-human persons. They've figured out that dolphins are so intelligent that they actually count as persons. They're just not human. Very forward-thinking in terms of their treatment of dolphins. Ironically, in India, you're better off being a dolphin than you are being a homosexual. It's a very, very strange place with a lot of interesting dichotomies, and it's, maybe we'll do... India is a fascinating spot, and with everything that's going on in the Middle East with regard to religious wars and things of that nature, and India's place in all of that, maybe it's worth digging into that a little later on during a different show, because it's a fascinating, fascinating society.
I don't know about you, but I would like to be classified as a non-human person. That sounds a very fun thing to do. Maybe I can run for president.
Yeah. Maybe we could have a dolphin president, according to the folks over in India. It's a possibility. It's a thing. Have you ever seen early Louis C.K.?
Only on the internet. I feel bad. Oh,
well, I mean,
nobody should see that one, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, what's funny, because Louis C.K. says, it really takes 20 years to be a comedian. He's like, for the first 10 years, you suck. You're terrible. And then the second 10 years, you're good, but it takes a long time for people to notice that you're good. He is perfectly open to the fact that he sucked when he was younger. And I don't know if you could say that he sucked, but it was just absolutely nothing like what made him the star he is today, like the unmitigated level of genius and how he goes through life and all that sort of stuff. But I remember seeing an old Louis C.K. thing, because I love him. I was like, what was he doing in, the early 90s? And Louis C.K.'s act used to consist of getting on stage and going, and then going, come on, people, get with it. These are dolphin jokes. True story.
Serenity now. What if I just burn this whole town down? Everyone's an idiot but me. It's a cold hard fact, not just what I believe. I want a little quiet, so don't try it. I'll check your ass like a looter in a riot. Shut up, bitch. Shut up.
Now, someone who everybody wants to punch in the face. AD on the radio.
Funkhouser.
What?
Let's get through what remains of the news, and then we'll get to our big story of the day, which is how would you feel if you had a kid and their homework assignment was to make ISIS recruitment posters? You'd feel a little uneasy, as do parents currently in Utah after that was assigned to them.
EYESYS is not how you spell ISIS, Timmy.
Yeah. Next, they'll have them going door to door, selling jihad candy to pay for a trip to the capital. Hi, I'm Timmy.
Would you like to fight terrorism?
I'm Timmy. I'm trying to pay for my school to take a trip to Washington, D.C. Would you care to buy one of these delicious Allah Akbars?
Oh, my God. America's favorite Christmas gift. Now available in 2 flavors.
Really? Allah Akbars doesn't get a Karate Kid? I would have given that a Karate Kid, but
can't do it.
Racist. All right, what else is happening in the news today, Funkhouser?
Gwyneth Paltrow's holiday gift guide includes a pair of $55,000 headphones.
Wow. Well, look, $55,000 for a pair of headphones.
Is that Beats by Chris Brown?
Meanwhile, $55,000 pairs of headphones might make well, no, hold on. I'm actually thinking about this as I go.
Sure.
Gwyneth Paltrow might continue to wonder why people accuse her of being so hopelessly out of touch after finding out that she recommended a $55,000 pair of headphones. But if the headphones block out the relentless sound of Gwyneth Paltrow's smugness, then every penny, they're worth every penny. Go on.
Matches my microphone.
Is that your, wait. What the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. Is that your Rush
I guess
impersonation?
So. I've only heard him for 30 seconds, so you guys will have to tell me.
Go on.
Daniel Radcliffe got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. Not known for my British accent, but I try.
I think you went through 3 different accents in that one sentence.
Then pick one and use it.
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week. Next to Gary Busey. Not Gary Busey's star, just Gary Busey is sleeping beneath the bench next to it.
Anybody want your picture taken? $5.
No need for a flash.
Yeah.
The light off my chiclet light teeth will illuminate the whole situation. Go on.
ABC will not allow same-sex couples to dance on Dancing with the Stars.
What?
Nope.
Are you kidding me? I guess, all right, ABC, that's the mouse. That's Disney. That's, family values, not conservative family values, and not really a broadcasting company known for, crossing any lines when it comes to challenging the perceived norm of the nuclear family in America. But yeah, to alienate gay folks from Dancing with the Stars shows a tremendous lack of foresight on their part. I think the only audience that they'll have left after that is a couple of bored moms and the geeks from a private school ballroom club, and I have lots of gay friends that wouldn't mind me saying that. Go on.
This is a side story that was just handed to me, but you hear what ABC Family's changing their name to?
No, what?
Freeform.
Really?
That's right. Freeform. The most creative name in the focus group that they came up with. What does it feel like? Oh, Freeform? Let's call it that. Geniuses over at ABC lately.
What are they doing? Are they changing? Freeform means, color outside the lines if you want to. That's Miles Davis in his more heroin-fueled and creative times. Freeform is sort of like the unrestricted pursuit of the artistic process in all of its vagaries. And I don't know what that has to do with...
Nope, now it means Boy Meets World reunion family things.
That's Freeform. Oh, okay. Well, Freeform. Wayne Shorter and Miles Davis are now turning in their respective graves. But go on, what else?
Hillary Clinton, Hill Dog's in the news. She wants to destroy ISIS.
Yeah, well, I mean, ever since Paris, how you're going to deal with ISIS or the Islamic State or whatever you want to call it, ICE holes, that's become the rallying cry of everybody trying to get elected, how they're going to deal with ISIS. Hillary Clinton says she wants to destroy ISIS. Little unclear with regard to how she plans on doing it. I think her first move probably be cutting off their ability to communicate by deleting all their emails. She's adept at that. Go on.
Bernie Sanders says Hillary Clinton is too close to Wall Street.
Yeah.
Way too close.
Feel the burn. Well, I don't know. I think all politicians are too close to Wall Street. They've all been bought. Like, that's Trump's rallying cry. Hey, I'm financing my own stuff. I'm not being paid off by special interest groups, and banks have no power over me. Wall Street can go take a flying leap. I'm my own man because I've got the cash to be my own man in the political arena. That's the part of Donald Trump's campaign that a lot of people find attractive. But it's a luxury that almost no one has. So Bernie Sanders could be right saying that Hillary Clinton is too close to Wall Street. And if stocks in the pantsuit industry suddenly skyrocket, you'll know he has a point.
Hello?
How much longer do we have, Funkhouser?
Oh, man. At least an octopus's legs. How's that for cryptic?
What's that in minutes?
8.
8? Cool. All right, a couple more pieces of news.
A Chicago woman was busted for assaulting Denny's employees because they told her she couldn't share her all-you-can-eat pancakes.
Yeah. Man, I love pancakes. Freaking love pancakes. Often when I'm having a hard time, I reward myself in the morning with pancakes. And look, honestly, that's probably not the best move. The pancakes are it's well established that pancakes are like the worst food you can eat because the sugar in syrup is like, you're basically eating pure sugar is what you're eating when you eat maple syrup. And then pancakes have no nutritional value whatsoever, but all the carbs, all the starchy carbs that turn to sugar in your bloodstream, and basically it's got to make you crash and burn 5 minutes after eating pancakes. But I love pancakes. They're like a little pickup for my soul. I love pancakes. Far and away one of my favorite foods on the face of the planet. I wouldn't assault anyone over pancakes, though. That seems a little far-fetched because they cost about like a penny each when you break it down to how much they are. But yeah, Chicago woman busted for assaulting Denny's employees because they couldn't, they told her she couldn't share her all-you-can-eat pancakes. Denny's customers putting the batter in battery. It's a lot of work for not much payoff. Go on.
Justin Bieber will go on his first world tour in 3 years.
Yeah, Justin Bieber on his first world tour in 3 years, and suddenly I find myself agreeing with Trump more than ever. Let's seal America's borders.
Quickly.
Can't come back. Go on.
The Writers Guild of America has released a list of the funniest scripts ever.
Right. Yeah. The funniest scripts ever. Courtesy of the Writers Guild of America. That list has been released. So, as you were, Tyler Perry. All right, then.
All of his work is at the Tyler Perry Museum of Museums. Presented by Tyler Perry.
A ninth grade teacher at Salem Junior High School in Salem, Utah, wanted her students to think about a pretty serious problem recently, how ISIS and other terrorist groups use propaganda to recruit people. Now, on the surface of things, that's okay. Great idea. It all falls down in the execution because her approach was more than a little misguided. She gave the kids a homework assignment where these kids, had to make a propaganda poster for a terrorist group. Yep. Wait, what grade was this again? Junior high school. Yeah. Junior high school teacher gave the kids a homework assignment where they had to make a propaganda poster for a terrorist group. A parent named Annie Langston found out about the assignment when she saw that her 14-year-old daughter typed "how to recruit for ISIS" into Google. That's going to set off some alarm bells, right? As a parent, when you find out your 14-year-old has been Googling that. And by the way, when I have a 14-year-old, I will be relentlessly checking to see what they Google or what they search for. By the time I have kids that are 14, though, I mean, who knows? You'll probably just download the thoughts directly into your brain or some other space age thing. Or we're all going to be living under the sea like Homer Simpson said we would. But, yeah, that's got to strike fear into your heart and bowels when your 14-year-old daughter types "how to recruit for ISIS" into Google. So she wrote a letter to the school asking for an explanation, very much within her rights to do so. And then the teacher and the principal had to apologize and shredded all the posters that the kids made. The school district issued an official apology this past Friday, just gone by as well. As far as we know, the teacher did not get suspended or fired. Did you see the picture of Annie's daughter's poster, Funkhouser?
No.
Yeah. It's unconvincing. Totally missed the point of the assignment. C- at best. But there you go. Oh my God. Oh my freaking gosh. There is one thing I've noticed about signs, though. Perhaps the sign would have been more convincing had the kid laminated it, as suggested by Eugene Merman.
At a lot of restaurants, as you know, in the bathroom, it'll say, like, there'll be a sign that says, like, employees must wash hands. I always wanted to add, they made me want to really add signs to restaurant bathrooms. But if I just put a sign there, I know that people would just think a person put a sign there. And I was sort of like, what would make it seem like official? And I decided that line was lamination. You know, if you laminate a sign and nobody thinks somebody'd buy a laminating machine as a joke. So I bought a laminating machine. And I've been going around New York City and adding signs, just, a pretty official looking sign underneath the regular sign. And here's just some of the signs I've been putting up. Please do not flush socks down toilet. Please wash feet before returning to work. Do not use your cell phone ever again. Walk out of here crying and ask for a lawyer. Divorce is not an option. Your child is being raised wrong. And then lastly, there are officially no more snakes here. Thank you.
So a guy in South Carolina upset when his masseuse wouldn't give him a happy ending this past Saturday just gone by. Don't you hate it when that happens, Funkhouser?
Yeah.
What do you do in those situations?
Who, me? I write a bad Yelp review.
See, that would be the proper thing to do. Not this guy. He went to the lobby. That list of the stupidest states we talked about on the show, I think South Carolina's in there, and that might give a certain amount of credence to this list. But yeah, this guy in South Carolina upset when his masseuse wouldn't give him a happy ending, so he went to the lobby and took care of himself right there.
So other people wrote bad reviews then, I assume.
Yeah. They're very unpopular on Yelp. Guy was in his 40s. He went to the Tai Chi massage parlor in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. $68 massage plus a $20 table shower. At the end, he asked his masseuse for a happy ending. She said she didn't know what that was, so he gestured around his junk to demonstrate. She refused, so put on his clothes, walked out angry, gave himself a happy ending, sat down on a bench, whipped it out, and went after it. The staff called the cops, but the guy took off before they got there. So now they're trying to track him down. Oh, yay. People's tax dollars at work. Fantastic.